Welcome to HDPP Live on a Wednesday
Monday
night to the UK and around the world with photos, memories and friends. This is HDPP Live. How are you this evening? Are you all well?
Hinckley District has the present for you, meeting friends old and new. Streaming Wednesdays and Saturdays too, with founder members Paul and Sue. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Film clips, photos, memories and friends helps a dreary night go by. We're in Hinckley, six of the best, stupendous, quizzical high. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Let's take you back in time. A community affair. We'll take you for a ride. Handsome's cab will take you there. We're making history. HDPP, track room applauses. History supporting local causes. Streaming HDPP live. Betty is our queen bee. The sweetest honey candy. Dangerous Den here again. HDPP live. Hey, you know we keep it HDPP.
Oh, here we go, my word. Let's hear it. Oh, you've done so well tonight. What a great weekend we've had. Everybody's cheering, everybody's happy. What more can you say after such a fantastic weekend for Her Majesty? Absolutely brilliant. I've loved every moment of it, I have. I am an old-fashioned sort of boy, you know, but I love all that pomp and circumstance, those wonderful scenes. We are so lucky to have such a wonderful monarch and indeed such wonderful patriotism there. Fantastic. Anyway, good evening. Welcome along once again to Hinckley District Past and Present Live on this Monday evening, an exciting Monday evening, even if I say so. Plenty of people already in the chat room. We'll take a sneak in there in just a few moments' time to see what people are saying. But as we speak, the excitement is, of course, it's thank you, Mrs. They've all voted in London about Boris. Now, we're not going to go into the politics, I'm just saying, so we'll know a bit later on what's occurring there. As I mentioned, the chat room, well, here it is, look, all your people already. The crops have just arrived. We know we can start now. Can't start without the crops. So the crops are in. Hi, Alan and Marie. Also, good evening, Dangerous Den, he's here again. Gary Betterley is here as well, who's drinking ale. He's drinking his my ale, who is Adam. He's wanting to know to Carol Beasley. Yeah. Clive Armstrong's here. Queen Bee has just made it in time. Steph's here as well. Ian Roberts, he's here too. And First person through the door tonight, indeed, was Daniel Coburn. So, hello, Daniel. He was quickly followed by Grandad Steve, who's here as well. Dave B nearly forgot. Listen, how could you forget a Monday night? I've had one or two people saying to me, oh, I loved it on a Saturday night. Well, don't worry. We will be back on Saturday nights, end of August time, when we'll go back to Saturday nights. We can't afford to get a new song saying streaming every Monday night. We're just going to get through for that. We've just got that subtle edit we do every night as well. Ian Walker's here as well. Also ably assisted by Ian Roberts. Hi both. Two Ians together. It could be trouble. Absolutely, it could be as well. Yes, right, okay. And another ding. Remember, the dings is when you like. So please like, subscribe so you don't miss any of our broadcasts in the future. That's the thing. What have we got lined up for you tonight? Well, I can tell you. We're going to be screening a couple of interesting things. We've got a great nosy, by the way. I've not had a chance to watch it yet. Steve's latest nosy. We'll be having that a little bit later on when Steve goes, when it actually goes. I'm looking for the spooky music. Have I got any spooky music? No, but I have got a... He's going walking in a graveyard. Thank you. He's going walking in a graveyard. He is a spooky graveyard. And with the thought of that in mind, our anagram tonight also links in that way. We'll be doing the anagram. We've got the Where in Hinckley. And I say a couple of great films as well as a nosy. So we've got plenty of things to get through. And we'll be done before they announce anything from Downing Street, in case you're into all that sort of thing. So there we go. Anyway, yes, look, they're saying, oh, yes, I prefer Saturday. I keep missing Mondays due to my art group. I'm sorry. Anyway, as I say, we will go back to our Saturday nights in August and through the winter months. So there you go. Just to give you... It's basically to give you all a night off on a Saturday to go up the pub in the summer, you see. That's all I was thinking of. Here's me thinking, they're bound to be out on a Saturday night, wanted to go out with friends, larging it all over town and up the local pubs, but there you go. It's been great to see some of the Jubilee celebrations locally as well. Burbage done very, very well. Lots of street parties going on. There's been some really super stuff, and it's been great to see it. On Thursday night, we went to see the beacon being lit, didn't we, Mrs. G? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was great, absolutely super. We took the grandkids as well, and one good thing about that, by the end of it, they were absolutely worn out. So we got to lie in on on Friday morning. It might as well have been Saturday morning, and it was great. So and it was nice that they could take place, a little bit of history there, and it was really, really good. Right, okay then, so tonight, let's get through our regular stuff. First of all, let me tell you first and foremost, let's say thank you to our sponsors this evening. As always, bringing HDPP to you. We thank you very much for those indeed. Now, we've had lots of things going on in the background. My word, have we had lots of things going on in the background. Firstly, let me remind you, we will be scanning on June the 18th. That's a week on Saturday. Tell your friends if they've got any old photos, let's have them, come on. We'll be scanning in St Mary's Church on June the 18th, and of course we'll be there every third Saturday of the month all through the year. I've got to tell you about this. Dangerous Dan, he's here again, and this is going to be good. Listen, Hinckley District, we look strange but true in World War II. It sort of rhymes. And then followed by a dangerous Burbage boyhood by our very own Dangerous Dan. Now, I promise this is going to be a super little night. Very informal. Annabelle is his granddaughter, is Dangerous Dan's granddaughter. She's going to tell you about some of the strange but true in World War II. And then followed by a Burbage boyhood. That's going to be good. You will even find out why we call him Dangerous Dan. The secret will be out on the night, okay? So that's on Wednesday, the 22nd of June at the ground. All the usual thing, free admission, everybody welcome. Brilliant, okay? Looking forward to that as well. Other things we've got going as well is, of course, the Sellers Night. Now, thank you. If you haven't got your tickets, get them. I am not, when I say there's a few tickets left, there is a few tickets left. We've been getting a lot of inquiries this time. In fact, it'll probably be that we'll have to organise a second one in the not too distant future as well. If you haven't already, if you want to come on this night, tickets are free. We just need you to have a ticket so we know how many people to expect. They are going extremely well. We're really pleased. These are super little nights, very informative, and you can ask any question you like. They will be answered by the team and Joseph, and that is, of course, on the Tuesday, the 28th of June. Really looking forward to doing that that night. It should be really, really good. Now then, other things, we've got Where in Hinckley and stuff to get on to now. So let's do Where in Hinckley and our anagram. I think we'll do the anagram first. Before I give you the anagram, because Mrs. G's and just started working on it. How you doing, Mrs. G? She go. Anyway, obviously not doing too good. No, it's great. I like it. So, thank you. So let's firstly do the anagram. As always, she's too busy dinging that bell. People think that's a big budget you got, Paul. Let's have our anagram question now. As always, don't put your answer on the screen. This is a brand new anagram, and I say, when you do get the anagram, just say "got it" or whatever, and then you can prove it at the end of the broadcast when we ask you to put your answers in. Okay, lovely. So here we go with the anagram this evening. There it is. There it is. Now, I know straight away that Jeff Wallace will be scrabbling around for a pencil, and he's already working on this. Black shirt, clothes, venture. That is the anagram. Black shirt, clothes, venture. Now then, the subtle but clever clue is when you get the anagram, you'll see why the clue is clever. No howling choir here. Jeff Wallace, you'd be proud of little old me this time. You really will. So there you go. Rearrange black shirt clothes venture, and it will give you the name of a place very, very close to Hinckley. I'm not going to say much more than that at the minute, because let's see how it goes. David Stamborough likes our anagrams as well. Good evening, David. I see you're here tonight. So there you go. Black shirt clothes venture. When you work it out, you'll see how the clue is also tying in with the answer. No howling choir here. There we go. That is the anagram this evening. I'll just leave it on the screen a few moments so David Blower can get all the right letters down, because he always imagines other letters, you know. There you go. Black shirt, clothes venture. If you rearrange that, it will give you a local place very, very close to Hinckley. But I'm going to say, I think I'll go as far to say, but it's no longer there. But you'll see. Work it out for yourselves, I'm sure. Jeff Wallace, I think this is going to be another good one. Jeff, this is good. You'll be proud of me. If I was your son, you'd be patting me on my little bald head. Right, okay, so there we go. We'll come back to that, obviously, in a little while, okay? If you don't like doing the anagram, no worries. We've got a Where in Hinckley. This is the part of the programme where we show you a picture somewhere in Hinckley. You have to guess where it is, and once again, same rules apply. All you've got to do, if you know where it is, I know where it is, but do not put your answer on the screen, Mrs. Robinson. No, please don't. Jeff Wallace, got the anagram. Damn you! But Jeff, do you agree? Jeff, do you agree that it's a good clue then? That's all we'll say. All right, let's have Where in Hinckley then before Jeff Wallace clears us all out. Don't put your answer on the screen, and let's give you our Where in Hinckley. Here we go. Don't put your answer on the screen. Where in Hinckley is this? Oh, look, a rare sight now. You don't see many of them about. There's a chimney there. Right, okay. Just let you have a look at that. Where do you think in Hinckley that is? Meanwhile, Jeff Wallace is saying, I got the anagram, and it's a good one. He thinks it's a good clue, and Anna got it. Yeah, you see. Anna's got it, Mrs. G. Right, okay. That's good. So they're the two things. Thank you, Mrs. They are indeed Where in Hinckley tonight and our anagram. We'll come back to them throughout the broadcast this evening, okay? Dave Blower said, I've written it down. I'm a little bit short of inspiration. Let's see. But Jeff Wallace approved the clue, which I thought was really clever. I really did. I was so excited, I nearly choked on my pint in the club yesterday. I went, oh, I've got a great clue. So there you go. Anyway, let's just move on then, because we've got a couple of films to show you this evening and a nosy. And just to remind you, we've also on the group, we've now got these subgroups. Now, they are exactly what they say on the tin, because we get lots of people either trying to post their events on the group or showing their gardens on the group. Well, it sort of detracts the main part of the group from what is past and present, and heritage. So we've now made these subgroups, and you can post whatever you like into the subgroups, because that's exactly what they're for. So if you've got an event on, you want to publicise it, and even if it's a paid-for event, it doesn't matter. You can do it straight into the events, activities and fundraising. If you're looking for an old school friend, post it in lost family and friends. Exactly. You see the thing? And then the main part of the group can stay predominantly for past and present and heritage, all that sort of thing. So that's what we're doing there. So look out for the subgroups. You'll see them. When you're on HDPP, you should see them either at the side. So I'm told. I see it along the top of the top of the group. But I think that's because one is an administrator. So that's what happens, apparently. I don't know. Let's have a quick film, then I'll tell you some more news from Hinckley District, past and present this evening. A film we haven't run since November last year, so I thought, oh, that needs a bit of an airing, doesn't it? All 8 minutes of it, but it's worth it. A little bit of Forgotten Hinckley. And there we have a film from Mike Clifford. He made that a little while ago and sent it to us. I thought it's a great little film, that one. Nice. I've not screened it for a while, so everything's due out for an airing. Absolutely it is. Now, earlier on, by the way, people having a good go. Cooey, says Pat Calloway. He's finally made it as that, yeah. And Alan Cropp says some great memories refreshed. Thank you very much indeed. Now then, merchandise. Look, here we are. Not only is Jasper's rammed to the rafters now with our latest stock. There it is. You can see our brand new key rings are here. We've had some more badges as well. And just to tease you even more, because we think that the new key rings are better than the old ones, you see. They'll become collector's item, I suppose you could say. And I have one here. Mrs. G's made me pay for it as well. Look, there it is. I'll just hold it. It's that short, you see. So you get the instant clip on, you know, like that. And put your keys on there, and it's great. There we have it. The latest HDPP key rings. I said, can I borrow one just to show you're paying for it? So there you go. All available. Oh, thank you, Mrs. All available at Jasper's, and so we went up today to do a stock take as well. So we can assure you, stock is there. Go get your key rings. Now, it always happens when the mic goes live. I suddenly go dry. Now then, let's see. Let's move on. Daniel Corburn's just saying, oh, I love that great little film. Love The Walk Up Castle Street. And Pat Galloway says, I just need the memorial DVD for the collection. Yes, Pat, it's been waiting for you. It's hanging on the back of our door. Right, okay. A reminder about our night with sellers. That's going to be really good. If you've only just joined us this evening and you're thinking about it, don't leave it any longer. You can get your tickets direct from us. If you email contact@hdpp.co.uk, we can arrange for you to come and collect. That'll be the thing, yeah. Okay, that's good. Right, okay then. We're going to keep the films coming now. Oh, by the way, let's just give you the old, for those of you that haven't yet got the anagram or the where in Hinckley, let's just give you the where in Hinckley. Where in Hinckley is this? It could be one of two places, you know. Have you got the right place where you think it is? That's one. Okay then. And there's the anagram. Yes. Black shirt clothes Venture. There we go. No howling choir here is the clue. If you rearrange that, and if you're clever as some people on this group tonight, I mean, Anna's on a roll tonight. She really is. You know, she's really woke up with everybody this morning and think, whee, I'm really on with it today. Well done, Anna. But as I say, we will give you the answer by the end of the programme. If you have got the anagram, just say, yes, got it. And we'll ask you to put your answer up at the end of the programme. Okay, then, so there we go. That's the anagram question. I would have liked it to have gone on just a little bit further, but I couldn't extend the words in for it. There's a reason behind that, but not to worry. Okay, then. If you're all sitting comfortably... By the way, Dennis, I'm just saying... Actually, I'll just show you here what Dennis Perkins is saying. I watched the Memorial DVD over the holiday. It's brilliant. Thanks, Dennis. Much appreciated there. And Pat Galloway, what's he like? Says, damn, looks like I've been going through the wrong door. Will you behave yourself? Lovely. Okay then, time for another one of our films now. And another film which we haven't screened since November last. So I thought it's worthy of another airing, and not only, but also for the benefit of new viewers, which we know we have, because some will sit there very quietly and don't say anything. They just like to watch the programme. So good evening to you. You know who you are. If you want to be quiet, that's fine by us as well. We're going to show you one of our very first productions now, our wonderful historic Hinckley 1, and then we're going off for a nosy with our Steve. So if you're a bit rusty on your Hinckley history, this or gets you all condensed together in a whole of 18 minutes. Sit back and enjoy our very first DVD we ever made, and it's available, of course, from Jasper's. See what you think to it. Here we go. Wonderful historic Hinckley.
Hinckley, a town of ancient lineage in the heart of England. Thus announced a fascinating historical depiction of Hinckley and the surrounding villages and hamlets by local artist Cicely Pickering in 1949. She was absolutely right. Welcome to wonderful historic Hinckley. We're often called an ancient market town with Saxon origins, but our history commences a lot further back than that. When the last great northern ice sheet that covered the country started to recede, it left its debris in heaps and hills. Hinckley is set on one of those post-glacial hills, as is the nearby village of Hyme on the Hill. Meltwater, of course, attracts animals, and animals attract humans. There is archaeological evidence from the Hollycroft estate of large types of cattle known as auroch, and the arrowheads and flints needed to kill the animals, scrape their carcasses and bones clean of meat for food, and their skins for clothing. A Paleolithic axe head was even unearthed in a Viking garden. Iron Age dwellers were also here, as shown by further archaeological evidence on the new housing estate along Coventry Road, known as Saxon Paddock. Not to be outdone, there is scattered evidence of some kind of Roman occupation. A Roman bust was found in the 1930s by schoolboy Alan Morby and is now in the Jewellery War Museum in Leicester. It's been back to the town twice for displays at Hinckley and District Museum. However, the elusive Emperor's Villa is yet to be discovered somewhere beneath the town. It was a so-called Saxon chieftain called Hink who settled with his family and people in a clearing in the woods known as a Lee. Thus, Hincks Lee. This settlement was most likely close to a water source, although the exact location is lost in the mists of time. What is not lost, and in fact what are still two of the most prominent features of our town centre, are the relics of the Norman conquest and its aftermath, a castle and a church. Little is known about Hinckley Castle that was built after the Norman conquests. It is believed to have been a wooden structure. Nothing remains of it except the mound and the moat, and they, since the 1920s, have enclosed the town war memorial. It's a well-known place for families to feed the ducks that swim on the moat. The mound and the moat would have been at the core of a thriving centre, surrounded by a fence and ditch, wherein people lived, worked, and worshipped. The parish church of the Assumption of St. Mary the Virgin is a Grade 2 star listed building. What can be seen today are Victorian extensions, either side of a Norman nave, tower and chancel. Dated as 1240 for its first building, there is an intriguing Anglo-Saxon sundial incorporated into the outer fabric of the church. This suggests a continuity with an earlier Anglo-Saxon church and community. The spire was added to the church in 1788. At the very heart of Hinckley, the church fulfills many functions, as well as being a place for silent prayer and joyous religious celebration. Surrounded by a graveyard with stones bedecked with timeless lichen and moss, an information board in the car park outlines the importance of the church building and the now disappeared abbey-type buildings associated with it. This ecclesiastical complex had regional importance beyond the bounds of just the town. One of the tombstones in the churchyard is known locally as the Bleeding Tombstone, said to weep blood on the anniversary of the murder of the young man buried there, Richard Smith. This pseudo-ghost story finds its way into many of the ghost books about Leicestershire and the East Midlands. Also important locally and in the countryside beyond were the markets that developed in the town. Early records suggest a market in Hinckley in 1311, but the possibilities are that there were such markets much earlier. Markets and fairs were a regular feature in the town. These include the shoe fair, which was more along the lines of a theatrical production, with figures and tableaux exalting the history of the town, with characters like the Norman lord Hugo de Grandmesnil and his wife Adeliza. This fair was revived in the 1780s from a much earlier tradition. There were cheese and fruit fairs, as well as fairs for the hiring of servants, the statutes. Many of the fairs were associated with religious festivals. The annual horse fair in August was around the date of the feast of the patron of the church, St. Mary of the Assumption, the equivalent of a Wakes fair. The notoriety of the fairs led the greatest English playwright William Shakespeare to include the following line in Henry IV, Part 2. A servant called Davy says to his master Justice Shallow, "And sir, do you mean to stop any of William's wages for the sack he lost the other day at Hinckley Fair?" How many towns do you think get a name check in Shakespeare? It suggests that he may at some point have even visited the town, not far from his own home in Stratford-upon-Avon. The play is rarely performed, so the name check is hardly ever heard, except from enthusiastic local historians, of course. Today, weekly markets take place on Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Another claim to national and international fame is the fact that Joseph Hanson invented his famous cab in the town and tested it on the roads before it went to the metropolis and became the Victorian equivalent of the black taxi cab. Hansom cabs can be found in the great cities of the world during the 19th and 20th centuries, from New York to Cape Town, and Melbourne, Australia to Christchurch, New Zealand. Hinckley is immensely fortunate to possess its own restored hansom cab, which resides in the Atkins building. Hanson was an architect by profession, and he designed Birmingham Town Hall and Arundel Cathedral, amongst many others, in different parts of the country. Hinckley's golden age might said to be the early 19th century, when Dr. Robert Cheshire, a renowned pioneering orthopedic surgeon, lived in the town, along the Church Walk. Due to Cheshire's work, Hinckley became a medical mecca for the aristocracy and upper classes of both this country and continental Europe. Amongst Cheshire's patients was Christina Bonaparte, the niece of Napoleon Bonaparte, who visited the town twice to receive help from the good doctor. It is said that at times there were 200 visitors to the town as patients of the doctor. His most famous case was a British politician who would later become the country's Prime Minister in 1827, namely George Canning. Canning's son was being treated for a club foot, and Canning actually took up residence in the town and later in Burbage in the years 1807 to 1814. These days, Canning has a statue in Parliament Square, London. Canning had voted for the abolition of slavery, and his parliamentary colleague, William Wilberforce, also at times visited Dr. Cheshire in Hinckley. How many places can one imagine that are able to say that they were once the home of a Prime Minister? Hinckley's worldwide fame was for its hosiery industry, begun in 1640 when a stocking-making frame was introduced to the town by William Iliff. These days, hosiery is produced elsewhere, and our old factories, those dark, satanic mills of Blake's recall in the hymn Jerusalem, have either been demolished or have been regenerated for other uses. To stand in Lower Bond Street in the town, outside the thatched museum cottages, once the home of generations of framework knitters, and to gaze at the Atkins factory across the road, this is to be at the epicenter of an industrial revolution. From cottages to factories, the development of the hosiery industry and its allied industries is really the development of the town over 350 years. At some point in the future, the hosiery industry will fade from living memory, but these two buildings, preserved as they are, will beg questions about something that meant as much to Hinckley as coal mining does to South Wales or shipbuilding did to the northeast of England. Hinckley was also known for its ale. Shakespeare's sack may not literally be a sack, but sack, a type of weak beer. Hinckley was well known for its hostelries, from its coaching inns in the marketplace to the old spit and sawdust establishment and doss houses around other parts of the town. Hardly surprising then that in this brewing tradition, Hinckley was home to two famous brewers. William Bass and his extended family lived in Hinckley in the 18th century, but it was when Bass moved his carrier business to Burton-upon-Trent and diversified later in life into brewing that his name became famous. Likewise, William Butler of the brewing giants Mitchells and Butlers was born in Hinckley in a cottage along new buildings. Today, the red triangle trademark of the Bass Brewing Company is the oldest in the country. The legend of Hinckley's tin hat is closely associated with the ale trade. Mr. Arthur Orton, who owned the Crown Hotel at the top of Castle Street, took a joke and turned it into a marketing ploy. Drunken revellers from Leicester tripped out of the Crown late one night following a bare-knuckle boxing contest at the Harrow Farm on the Watling Street. Somewhat worse for wears, they saw one of the old town pumps with a communal tin bucket on top of it and exclaimed that everyone in Hinckley wore tin hats. Undaunted, the enterprising Orton had a tin hat made up by Tinker Jennings. Orton stuck the tin hat on his beer tent pole and boxing booth at Leicester Racecourse. The marketing ruse went down a storm, and Hinckley thereafter became known as Tin Hat. A separate tin hat was given to Hinckley's pugilist Nat Langham, who was the middleweight champion of all England. Both tin hats now reside in the Hinckley and District Museum. Consequently, you will find a Tin Hat pub in the town, a theatrical society called the Tin Hatters, and an annual celebration known as the Tin Hat Fair. Hinckley has a rich literary heritage. The Victorian authoress Charlotte Mary Brain was born and died in the town. She wrote over 200 romantic novels that were eagerly consumed by people all over the English-speaking world. The books were also translated into Spanish, Polish, and even Arabic. Elizabeth Coxhead, the daughter of the headmaster of the grammar school, was a journalist and novelist and a regular broadcaster on the BBC in her day. From an earlier age, the royalist poet John Cleveland gives his name to the current sixth form at Hinckley Academy. Eric Chappell's famous and now classic TV comedy Rising Damp was first conceived as a play, The Banana Boat, in his Hinckley home. Indeed, Hinckley's theatrical heritage stems all the way back at least to the 1390 poll tax return, when one Edward Reed and his wife Editha are described as stage players or actors. The later centuries of the intervening years between then and now, such as the 19th and 20th centuries, have seen countless local people involved with local drama societies, often connected with church groups, schools, and art societies. The local amateur theatre, the Concordia, a converted hosiery factory, is a premier venue of its type, not only in the East Midlands but across the country. The outstanding talent and high calibre of shows attest to this fact. When you recall that world-famous figures such as George Fox, the founder of the Quakers, was born in nearby Fen y Drayton, or that the mathematical genius and one of the world's first computer programmers, Ada Lovelace, lived at nearby Kirby Mallory, and who adored Hinckley, the town has a rich treasure trove of heritage to offer those who live here and those who would visit the town. Like any market town, Hinckley and the area has seen many changes over the years. However, it continues to attract visitors to the town with local events organised by the Hinckley Bid, a business improvement district organisation, and the local borough council. These include a soapbox derby and summer events for school children in the holidays. The town is also proud to hold one of the biggest classic car shows in the country every September. The year's events are normally brought to an end by the traditional Christmas lights switch on, with a big firework display and a Christmas market. The town has for many years participated in the national programme of Heritage Open Days, held in early September. Indeed, the town has had a museum run by volunteers since 1995, whose open season from Easter to October always has new displays and a range of engaging activities. With the advent of social media, sites such as Hinckley District Past and Present exist. The Enquirer can immerse themselves daily and weekly in the heritage of the town. The development of the Heritage Action Zone in 2020 for the town centre means that an unprecedented amount of money in the town's history will be spent on engaging people in understanding, delighting, and being proud of the wealth of our local heritage. Welcome to wonderful historic Hinckley.
I've not seen that for a little while, so it was nice to sit and watch it again. It's a bit like being visited by an old friend, oh, come on, let's have a natter. And it's that sort of thing. Oh, thank you, Mrs. It's that sort of thing, isn't it, really, So every now and again, it's lovely to show some of our early productions. What I do is on my playlist, I look to see what's, not been played for a few months, and we play it again, etc., etc. Mrs. G has told me tell them that on the key rings, of course, we have got, just about hold it up there, we of course got the tin hat over there, along with the hansom cab, on our key ring. Get yours today. Daniel Coburn said that was fantastic. He says, I forgot about that one. Thank you, Daniel. And Dennis Perkins said that DVD is so absorbing. Absolutely. And Pat Galloway saying, Greg Joke, what a narrator. Absolute awesome. Good. I think everybody enjoyed doing that one. So here's your last chance to play the anagram and, of course, the Where in Hinckley. First of all, there's Where in Hinckley. It could be one of two places. Have you guessed the right place? Have you got the right place? Because I guarantee this is similar to somewhere else in the town. So examine it carefully. Okay, so that is the Where in Hinckley. And also on the anagram, there we go. Black shirt clothes Avenger. Rearrange that, and you'll get an area very, very close to Hinckley. The actual structure's not there now, but the clue will give it all away. No howling choir here. And that'll all make sense to you after we've had our nosy this evening. So there we go. Just lived on the screen just a few moments. There we go. Okay, now then, so it's been a while since we had a nice another nosy. We had one last week, admittedly, but we so enjoy having a noser. And Steph Hayes, by the way, Steph's just said I loved it. She's enjoyed that one too. Great. We're all happy this evening, my word, we are. Let's settle back for our latest noser with Steve Picker. Now, I haven't seen Steve. He's probably out doing a nosy this very evening. So let's sit back. You might get a bit frit tonight. You might get a bit frit because apparently we're going to an abandoned graveyard. Quick, let's find out.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is Mr. Nosy himself, Steve Picker.
Hello, hey up and how you diddling? My name is Steve and once again it's a great big warm welcome from myself to Let's Explore. Right then, something a bit different for you today because as you can see behind me here we've got a church. Now this is All Saints Church in the village of Rempston, which is just over the Leicestershire border in South Nottinghamshire, a very short distance away from the very large town of Loughborough in Leicestershire, of course. Now relatively speaking, this church behind me, it's quite a newly constructed church in the grand scheme of things because this was built between 1771 and 1773, and I know what you're thinking straight away. Yeah, Steve, I can remember I was around at the time. I can remember the footings going in, do you know what I mean? But relatively speaking, this is a modern church. You know, as we know, a lot of churches were built, you know, in the early centuries AD, and some of them, you know, can go back as far as the Domesday Book of 1086, so many of them are very old. Now, it's not actually this church that interests us today, but the church you're looking at is actually built partly from reclaimed materials of a much older church that were built in the 12th century, a stone's throw away from this in that direction, known as St Peter in the Rushes. And that used to serve Rempston Village, Costock and East Leek as far as I know, but it fell into disrepair and in 1771 they started building this one. So what you're looking at there in terms of what it's built of, the stone it's built of, some of that came from the earlier church, but it's that church that we're really interested in looking at today because although that church doesn't stand anymore, now whether there's a foundation or not I don't know, we'll find out shortly. You know, what does remain of it still is its graveyard, and that's what we're really interested in looking at today. Anyway, before we go and look at St Peter's, what's left of it, I just want to show you something at the back of the church tower here that I've been meaning to show you for a while actually, because when I go out, I often see these little things that I want to show you. Anyway, let's go and have a look. Right, so before I take you gallivanting, I want to show you at least where we've been because you might not be familiar with this area that we visited today. So as you can see there, the red dot marks the spot as per usual, just to the northeast of Loughborough there, and that's just outside the village of Rempston where that red dot is. And as you can see, Rempston isn't actually marked on the map, but the neighbouring villages of Eastleek and Costock, which were also once served as well as Rempston by this church we're looking at today, St Peter in the Rushes. You can see them marked there. And what you're about to see now is an Ordnance Survey map that was surveyed in 1883 and published in 1884, courtesy of the National Library of Scotland, of the actual site that we're going to look at today. Right then, so what I actually want to show you down here, so this is the actual tower at the back of the church here. And just here, I'll show you close up in a minute. This here is what you call a benchmark. Now, many old stone constructed buildings have these on them. A lot of churches do. Nearly every church that I see on an old Ordnance Survey map has one of these. Now, these were actually put here, I think, by the Ordnance Survey maybe in the early 1800s when they started making maps, the Ordnance Survey. And what they can find out from here are elevation points. You find these scattered all over the place on old railway bridges, and you also find them on random little bridges in the countryside, down country lanes as well. Let me show you a closer look. Right, so here then is your benchmark, and to be honest, I spend a lot of time looking for these. You know, when I'm out on a walk or something, if I come across a church or a really old stone building, I'll often see if there is one of these benchmarks, because if you look on old Ordnance Survey maps, near enough every church that you look at, a really old one, will have one of these benchmarks. And as you can see, you've got an arrow there that's pointing to a horizontal line. And what it means, benchmark, basically, it's a survey benchmark that originates from the chiselled horizontal lines that you're looking at here. And these were marks that surveyors made in stone structures into which an angle line could be placed to form, you know, a bench for a levelling rod. So ensuring that a levelling rod could be accurately repositioned in the same place in the future. So, you know, there'd be a level on this church, for argument's sake, then there'd be one down the road on another building, and they could kind of spirit level, if you like, and work out the levels, you know, for elevation and what have you. So yeah, very fascinating. I mean, I don't go bird watching, I just go benchmark watching. Do you know what I mean? It just really interests me. But there you go. Right, so we're on his way now to go and see if we can find this old graveyard, which I think is around about 800 yards over there by the looks of it. Anyway, well, I can see a hare. Don't half run quick, they do, don't they? I love to see them out and about. Anyway, we're not here for wildlife on one, are we? So we've just been in All Saints there and had a little look round. We've shown you that benchmark. I love the old benchmarks. And do you know what? It's awful today. It's meant to be June, for God's sake. When I left the house where I live in northwest Leicestershire, it was drying up, and I've got here, it's that horrible fine rain, do you know what I mean? It's that wet rain, as I call it. Anyway, let's proceed. Let's get on with it. Let's go and see if we can find what remains of St Peter in the Rushes. Right, so this then is the site of St Peter's Church, St Peter in the Rushes, and it's around about a mile away from where we've just been at Rempston. Actually, it's a bit further than I thought. Now, I made the humongous mistake today of coming out wearing denim, wearing jeans, because to get here, I really underestimated this because of all the rain we've had. Bearing in mind, it's bloody June. It's June, it's summer. You know, we've got a lot of long grass everywhere, and the actual path to get here was really long, and I am absolutely soaked to the bone. I mean, it's not so bad now, I've got used to it. But in here somewhere, oh, I can just see the tops of them, are the actual gravestones, which is quite exciting. I hope they were worth walking all the way over here for it. To be honest, it was horrible. You know, and this is soaked, but you know, I put myself through it. And you know what? If you follow my Facebook Let's Explore page, you'll find on there a little video that I made the other day, and I walked through a load of stinging nettles from one extreme to the other, isn't it? And I'm still suffering the effects of them, but you know, I've always done this kind of thing since I was a kid, so I'm used to it. Let's go and have a look at these anyway. I hope they're fascinating for you anyway. It's all right, I'll do all the work and get wet. You sit there in your nice dry living room with a fire on in June. Right, well, as you can see, it's absolutely nuts, isn't it, walking through here? And you can just see perhaps the tops of the gravestones here. I've got to watch where I walk because I could, you know, be walking on anything, couldn't I, with how long this grass is. But these could be really old, actually. And I've got this curiosity with old gravestones, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. It's the fact that, you know, these people, you know, these breathed and walked on the earth, you know, breathing the same air as us and, you know, walking the same paths as us a long time ago in a bygone era. And that's my fascination with it, I think. Anyway, let me show you these. So there could actually be a lot of graves, you know, buried in all this undergrowth, but we have got a handful of them left here, and you know, we've got one down here. So we'll have a look, and so here lieth the body of, I think that says Jane, the wife of, I'm not quite sure what that says, to be honest, but who departed this life on the 25th of, does that say March? March the 25th. 1747, so very long time ago, very long time ago. And then just over here, I mean, it's quite sad, isn't it, you know, that these people who served their local community a very long time ago are just lying here now in all this long grass. But it's unfortunately how it goes sometimes, isn't it? So it's actually difficult to film and read at the same time. I hope you can read that. But so what we've got here, in memory of Matthew Steele, does that say? Looks like he was from Burton on the Wolds, actually, so that's not too far away from here. Who departed this life the 12th day of June 1799. So when they built the new church in Rempston, they were clearly still burying people here for whatever reason, because of course that church opened in 1773. So just look at the detail. I mean, this was all of this carved by hand, you know, mallet and chisel. It's a real skill, isn't it? But we've got one that's really buried in the undergrowth here. Do you know, I'm not going to lie, I'm so wet. But it was. Oh wow! Do you know what? There's a proper tomb in there buried. We'll try and get to that shortly. It looks like it. Wowzers! So, put my neck. Right. Oh, standing on my own toes here. Right. So who have we got here then? So, to the memory of John Steele. Yes, a relative of the one that we've just seen. So. Burton again, I'm assuming that's Burton on the Wolds. Died April the 14th, 1770, I think that says. In the 84th year of his age. So, you know, 1770, he lived to a very good age, didn't he? There's actually a few more graves than I thought there were going to be. I mean, you know, like I say, it's like the jungle in here. So, right, what we got here? Here lieth the body of, does that say Elizabeth? You know, the carving's that good, isn't it? It's so good I can't read some of it. It's all actually in really good condition. Where were we? Elizabeth, wife of Thomas Steele. And again, what does that say? So she was from Rempston. It's very difficult to read some of it, I'm sorry about that. But she passed away in 1747. No, that doesn't say 94, does it? Does it say 94? In the 94th year of her life? No, it's the 91st year of her life. So wow, this lady was very old when she passed all those years ago. That's incredible. It really is. So this one looks quite nice to read actually. So here lieth the interred body of Thomas Steele. So these were quite a big family buried here, who departed this life on the 26th of June 1731. Wow, very old. In the 81st year of his age. So this family were living to good ages, man. They really were. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. This is intriguing me at the minute, this tomb that I was showing you. It's quite a large one, so this would have been somebody very important. It's actually, someone's been in here in the past, look, and opened this up. Unless nature's done it, you know, there's a lot of trees growing around here. I'm just trying to watch where I'm treading because, I mean, you do like to be respectful if you can. But this one's been opened up, look. So but it's not very wide, unless it's just a memorial. Whether there was ever a body there, I don't know, but I'll show you this. So yeah, that's quite interesting. So I don't think there was ever an actual casket in there. It's probably actually below this structure, but we'll try and find out who was in it actually, if we can get round there. I can probably zoom in if there's any writing anyway. Right, so we'll get at it from this end, and yeah, so the good thing is here, there is some carved writing on here, so, but it's a little bit weathered as you'd expect, and some of it I can't read. Right, so, to the memory of the very, does that say Reverend? Reverend Roberts? Reverend Robert Marsden, I think that says. So he was very important around these parts, so he would have been a reverend at this church, I imagine. So, son of a very worthy divine, Thomas Marsden, late vicar of Walton in, I can't read that to be honest with you. Seeing down here it's all green, isn't it, with lichen or whatever you call it. So, rector of this parish. Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating, isn't it? Those that came before us, eh? So, we have got a date, August the 24th, 1748. I think he was 82. I think that's an 82, yeah. 82nd year of his age, bless him. And now he's been taken over by nature. Incredible. I'll have a little look round in the undergrowth in amongst these trees and what have you as well. The tomb that we've just been looking at is in here, so, but the ones that we've seen so far are from, you know, the mid to later 1700s, aren't they? And if there's any in here from the previous century, the 1600s, you imagine that they will probably be lost and buried because they're that old. You know, maybe a good 400 years old, aren't they? So, but who knows what's lying in here. Right, well, unfortunately, that concludes today's video, and I hope you've enjoyed it. It's something a little bit different for you anyway, and yeah, we found out about this a few weeks ago. Somebody that Dave knows got in touch with him and said, oh, have you heard about this old graveyard out in the sticks? And, you know, both of us had heard nothing about it before, so very interesting. And there's such sobering places these are when you come to them, and this is the first one that I've actually been to that's just kind of forgotten about, you know, where it's all overgrown as this is. And don't I know it today? I'm absolutely soaked, but it was worth coming out in the end. And it's Sunday, and I like to get at least one video, you know, a fortnight in if I can, ideally once a week, but it's not always possible with life because life is life, and it's very busy at times, isn't it? Anyway, if you did like this little video, please like, subscribe and share it if it floats your boat, and you can guarantee, you can bet your last imaginary quid and Rolo on the fact that I'll be back for another one very soon. Take care of yourselves and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.
And there he was gone, my word. What a fascinating nosy. There was always very interesting things, particularly in old churchyards, tombstones and stuff. I was keen to see that one, and I was desperately trying to read all the text on the on the stones. Absolutely incredible. I mean, for example, that one, you know, in the early 1700s, I thought, well, that was 300 years after the Battle of Bosworth and things like that. You know, you start putting these dates together, what their lives would have been like, you know, and wow, brilliant stuff. Well done, Steve. Great note of that. And people also, as we're starting to look into the chat window, look, you can see people who are enjoying what they have been seeing. So there you go. Well done. We'll have another nosy from Steve next Monday. If he hasn't done a new one, we can always go into his vast library. You can, of course, also, if you can't get enough of his noses, visit his YouTube channel, Let's Explore, and you can help you. You can binge watch them all. Binge watch. And what I'm going to try and do is get Steve to come along to one of our social nights, probably going to be August. Probably August time, either August or September, trying to get a night with Steve and I'm sure he'll be able to show you some wonderful pictures and give you some of the stories behind. So there we go. Okay, then it's now time to wrap things up. And firstly, we're going to do Where in Hinckley. Oh, Jane Brown is here. We thought you weren't here, Jane. Nice to know that you're there. Let's do Where in Hinckley first. First of all, if you know where in Hinckley is, if you'd be kind enough now, yeah, we'll put it on the screen. There we are. Now, it could be one of two places in Hinckley. Who's going to get it right? Well, just going to hang on a moment while you look at that particular thing. It could be one of two places in Hinckley, quite easy. And when I tell you the other place, you'll know what I mean. Right, okay then. Dennis Perkins said, a night with Steve would be awesome. Absolutely. Right. Jeff Wallace, Kevin Beasley say, The Narrows. Yes, but which Narrows? Oh, Paul, you just played a little blind there, didn't you? Yes. Reminds me of the Narrows, says Dave B. Yeah. But, guys, seriously, this is not a joke. Which Narrows? There are two Narrows in Hinckley, and in both cases, they are edged by a factory of the same type. Shocker, well, used to be anyway. No, I won't tease no longer. Yes, Hill Street, says Jeff Wallace, quite positively. Absolutely. Hill Street, says Kevin Beasley as well. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We are in the Narrows in Hill Street. Let me just give you there. That's where we were, look. And the other Narrows, by the way, which runs down from John Street down through the cemetery and stuff. And of course, years ago, it was indeed edged by factory. So there you go. Anyway, there we go. Lovely. And now then, Daniel Coburn, the narrow one. I shall have a word with you, Mr. Coburn, soon. So there you go. Well done if you got it right. We'll have another Where in Hinckley for you next week. Now, also, when on the anagram, we have discovered since we've been on air that we have discovered that it is lacking an R. Now, in my excitement to get this one, because the clue's really good, you see, I admitted an R, so I apologise for that. But all the same, you'll still get the sort of same answer there. So, yes, answers coming through now then. We're at Stretton Baskerville Church. Yes, David B said, was there ever Stretton Baskerville Church? Yes, indeed there was. It's just, well, it's ruins now. In fact, there's very, very little of Stretton Baskerville Church remaining. If you search the group for Stretton Baskerville, you will see, a little while ago, I did post, it's just rarely a field and just a few humps and hollers now. So David Stamper also getting it right. Stretton Baskerville Church, that is where we were. Hence the clue, no howling choir. Howling as in Baskerville, as in Hound of Baskerville. You see, that's why I was so excited. It's not very often I'll get a good clue, but that one, my friends, was well worth having. So maybe you've... John Denny, where have you been all night? Comes in just as we're finishing. So there we go. That's where we've been tonight. We've been to the Narrows in Hinckley, and we've also been to Stretton Baskerville Church. So there we go. Kath Dennis saying, sorry, I forgot. Hello, everyone. Just as we're going, we're just about ready to go now. Absolutely. Well, we've had a great night. We've been taught. We've had some great films and stuff. Ooh, there you go. Say no more. Right. Okay, then. And Ian Walker say, definitely got Where in Hinckley tonight. I should think you should too. Okay then. Right, that's just about it for us for this week. Don't forget our latest key rings. I'm going to plug them like mad. Now available in Jaspers, etc. Some people want us to post them. We will post out. We will put in the post for the price of the posting P&P, etc. We will do that, of course. And once again, all the proceeds go to our local good causes. My word. What has been a super 4 days, what with the Jubilee and stuff, been absolutely fantastic. And I think just locally, the townsfolk and the events in the town have been absolutely superb. So I think everybody deserves. A little round of applause. Yeah, I think you're worth it. Well done for all the efforts. Absolutely. Meanwhile, Dennis Perkins and John Denny, you wouldn't have got the anagram. Half the letters were missing. Den, you behave yourself. Now, let me just remind you before I go, once again, because this is important, our night with Sellers, as I say, if you haven't got your tickets, get them pronto, because seriously, they are running out pretty quick now, and it'd be a shame if you're one of our regulars that can't join us if you wish to come, as I say. So that is coming up soon, and a reminder, of course, for our next social night when Dangerous Den, I know this, I don't know whether this is going to carry an X certificate, I don't know on the night, but however, as I say, Den will be telling you, and he will reveal in person for the very first time why he was called Dangerous Den, or why he is called Dangerous Den, all that on the 22nd of June. So it's not going to be that long away, so I've got to give you plenty of notice now, and it'll be a great little night as well. But in the meantime, I want to wish you a very good night. Thanks for spending a little bit of Monday night with me. I hope you've enjoyed it, and hopefully tomorrow a bit more. Isn't it been blooming dull today? God, it's one of them really oppressing days for me, you know. But anyway, there you go. Glad you all enjoyed it, and like I say, we'll be back next Monday, 7:30. Remember to keep it HDPP and to keep it live. Oh, and another like. Thank you very much. Keep the lights coming on, so they are. And I will see you next week. Until then, take care. God bless. Bye. I don't know, fancy missing a blooming R out. It's annoying, honestly. Oh, hello. Oh, didn't know you'd come back so quick. Well, there you go, Just giving myself a good telling off. Missing an R out in the aniogram, so I do apologise for that. 50 lashes with a wet woodbine when I finish this tonight, I'll tell you. Okay, welcome back. Well, this is the part of the programme we don't talk about. And who would want to talk about it? Let's face it. Try and send you off with a little chuckle. To which I try to give you one or two dad jokes, something like that. And I know a couple of these I've used before, but they're worth recycling. After all, we've got to save the planet now, haven't we? Let's see which one we can start off with first. Let me just make sure. Are you ready to start your laughs? You are? Yes, okay then. Right then. A panic-stricken man explained to his doctor, "You have to help me. I think I'm shrinking." "Now settle down," the doctor told him calmly. "You'll just have to learn to be a little patient." You'll just have to learn to be a little patient. Not bad for a starter, is it? If a pig loses its voice, does it become disgruntled? Yay! I'd never thought of this before. If prisoners could take their own mugshots, they'd be called selfies. Selfies. That's a good... We're keeping that one. We'll keep them. I used to run a dating service for chickens, but I was struggling to making ends meet. Making ends meet. Yeah. And to whoever stole my copy of Microsoft Office, I will find you. You have my word. And furthermore, I know I can't take my dog to the pond anymore because the ducks keep attacking him. That's what I get for buying a purebred dog. I like that one. I've done that one before. Thank you. On a more sad note, I just broke up with my mathematician girlfriend. She was obsessed with an X. Yes. Finally, I found a wooden shoe in my toilet today. It was clogged. Go away now. Thank you. That'll do for tonight. Yes, absolutely. Oh. See you next Monday. Stop it now. I look forward to your company then. Take care. Ta-da. Will you stop that, honestly? What do you like tonight? Honestly, laughing all over the place. Yeah.